In this video, we're going to compare two major destinations here in Vietnam, Ha Long Bay and Ninh Binh. Despite these locations being totally different in terms of location and scenery, with one being a bay out here in the ocean and the other being inland, they are often compared to each other online with differing opinions on which one is more worth a visit. Well, we're visiting both of them, so make sure you watch the entire video and we'll give you our opinion on which one is more worth a visit.
We're going to use 4 main categories to judge our final decision: price, activities on offer, breathtaking factor, and overall enjoyment. We're going to start off at the world famous tourist hotspot Ha Long Bay, a backdrop for many famous Hollywood movies. Many tourists would argue that you absolutely cannot skip Ha Long Bay if you're coming to Vietnam. Now, we've never been to Ha Long Bay before, and to be honest, we've heard a lot of mixed reviews, but we are doing a 1-night, 2-day cruise experience in the bay, and we actually filmed an entire video on that experience. So if you would like to see that video, you can click up there or click the link in the description and check out that video. So there are plenty of different activities you can do in and around Ha Long Bay, one being kayaking. And I can't really think of a better way to take in the scenery than on the water itself, exploring in whatever direction you want. Now let's talk about the colour of the water here at Ha Long Bay, or more specifically Ha Long Bay Pearl Factory. It is like a turquoise colour, greenish blue, more green than blue, certainly not see-through, but it is a very pretty colour to look at, and it's that typical colour that you see in pictures when you Google Ha Long Bay. We've just made our way closer to one of the islands, and as we approached the shoreline, we noticed that the water started to look like really oily. In a way, it was quite pretty because it looks like a rainbow, but it is definitely some sort of oil in the water, which I can't imagine is good for the marine life. So that is something that we'll have to factor into our decision when we're comparing Ha Long Bay versus Ninh Binh. And I'm sure that there's oil in water amongst most places on the planet, but this is one of the most beautiful places on the planet, and it is sad to see things like that. Speaking of sad to see, online there is a huge debate on whether or not it's worth coming to Ha Long Bay. One of the things that people frequently complain about or are unhappy about is rubbish in the water, so we will be keeping an eye out for things like that as well.
So another activity you can do here in Ha Long Bay is come to T-Top Island and either hike to a viewpoint or swim here on the beach. So unlike the kayaking that was super quiet, there are so many people here on T-Top Island. I think every boat in Ha Long Bay is here right now. Super packed. I mean, it depends on your kind of opinions. For us, I'm kind of a bit like, it's a lot, like very touristy, but again, some people aren't that fazed by it, so it's really up to you, but definitely a point to note, and we'll see what it's like when we're in Ninh Binh. So doing the hike, very easy, about 10 to 15 minutes, but you definitely felt the crowds up at the top. It's a very small area up at the top, but it was so packed. It was very hard to get to the edge and get a photo. Even if you got to the edge, people were like shoulder to shoulder, so you actually couldn't really see the view behind you. It was a little crazy for me personally. I didn't really enjoy it up the top there, but it is a bit more beautiful down here at the bottom on the beach. A few less people, but definitely still very busy.
And it seems there are a few other activities that you can do here at T-Top Island. There is volleyball net behind me, and then there's a tiny little sand soccer field here too. So I think it might be potentially BYO ball, but that's kind of cool. If you choose to do an overnight cruise like us, chances are that your second morning will start off with some Tai Chi.
So another common activity on a Ha Long Bay cruise is to come here to Surprising Cave, which is pretty cool, definitely very busy, but we're in the 3rd chamber now and it's absolutely massive. So it's called Surprising Cave because of something you'll see in chamber 3. We'll leave it up to you to think what it is, but we promise it's not what you think it is.
Alright, it is time to rate Ha Long Bay. Stace, what is your score out of 5 for activities? I will say 3. I enjoyed the kayaking. We did just witness a very quick demonstration of the cooking class, but it was literally just making like a raw spring roll. It was only okay, so I will give it a 3. Price?
A 3? Reason being, I think it's too much money for what it is, but in saying that, pretty much every cruise you look at will be around this price or more, so that's why it's a 3, not a 2.
I agree. 3. Breathtaking factor.
It's hard. We've seen so many breathtaking things on this trip, like the cliffs of Moa and things like that, so I have a very high standard, and compared to how I responded to some of those other places, I'd go 3. Very beautiful, don't get me wrong, but in terms of breathtaking, like the cliffs of Moa took my breath away, whereas this was like, oh, that's very pretty.
I agree. Cliffs of Moa would be a 5 out of 5, and when I compare that to what we've seen, and maybe weather is a factor, I would give it a 3. And then the last category is overall enjoyment.
I'll go 3.
I will also go 3. With that, it's time to move on to our next destination, Ninh Binh. So now that we've seen Ha Long Bay water version, let's show you Ha Long Bay on land. Now Ninh Binh is certainly a worthy rival to Ha Long Bay. It shares similarities in the limestone mountains and picturesque scenery. Now Ninh Binh is actually a province, and then within that province you have some pretty popular destinations such as Trang and Tam Kok, to name a few, and we're going to be visiting a lot of those places. And like Ha Long Bay, Ninh Binh has been home to numerous Hollywood films as well. We found the best way to explore Ninh Binh was on a motorbike. We first checked out a 3-tiered pagoda built into the mountain. Another really popular activity, in fact probably the most popular activity you can do in Ninh Binh, is a boat ride in Trang. And I have to say I'm definitely seeing some Ha Long Bay similarities, like particularly because now we're on the water against these big limestone mountain type things. It's pretty cool. So the way that this works, there are 3 different routes you can do here in Trang. We've gone with route 3. And it goes through a really long cave here. It's meant to be a very interesting, unique experience. Wow. And the boat cruise from start to finish is at least 3 hours. And something else you can do in Ninh Binh is ride bikes around the area. It's very bicycle friendly and very beautiful pretty much everywhere you go. Now Ninh Binh province is also home to Phuong National Park, which is actually Vietnam's first national park and one of the biggest ones too. And here at the national park you can go into the Endangered Primate Rescue Centre, where you not only like walk around and look at the primates yourself, you're actually with a guide. It's included in your ticket price, and our guide was great. He was so knowledgeable.
So good.
So good. Talking to us about each, like pretty much individual primate, knowing each of their backstories, why they're endangered, and most of the time, of course, it's humans, but most of the time it's because they're being hunted and then sold to be eaten for certain cultural beliefs, which is really sad because those beliefs are not factual and certainly avoidable. But it's certainly a great initiative here in Vietnam. I really think our tour guide did an amazing job, and if everyone who works here is like him, I think it's an amazing place and the primates are in good hands. Now you can also go hiking here at the national park, so that is another activity you can do in and around the Ninh Binh region. Unlike the hike that we did to the viewpoint in Ha Long Bay, we are the only people around at the moment. It is so quiet, so peaceful, and just look at the surroundings. Ninh Binh also has this really cool cave with evidence of life from 7,500 years ago. That's pretty cool. Let's go check it out. Now you can also come to Long Lagoon and get in another boat, see what you can see on the journey. And now it's time for our Ninh Binh review. Stace, what do you rate the activities out of 5?
I'm gonna go 4.
I will also go 4. Price?
Now, we actually spent a few dollars more on Ninh Binh than we did on the Ha Long Bay tour, but the Ha Long Bay tour was 1 night and we had 4 nights in Ninh Binh, so 5 out of 5.
We did a lot in Ninh Binh. I also say 5 out of 5. Breathtaking factor.
I'm gonna go 4.
I will also go 4. And last one, overall enjoyment.
I rate 5. I really loved our time in Ninh Binh. I know that probably doesn't make sense because I haven't given every category a 5, but I really, really loved it.
If you'd like to see our full video in Ninh Binh to check out what we're talking about, you can click right up there. But I'm also gonna go a 5 out of 5, which brings us to the time where we crown our winner. Drum roll, please. Some really nice crown, Stace. I present the crown to Ninh Binh. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. And the crowd goes wild. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you got this far, leave a like if you liked it and comment down below which of the 2 locations you think you would prefer.
If you want to check out some of our other videos, check out our time in Sapa over here. And if you want to check out somewhere else, check out this video from Pai in Thailand over here. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.